What is up, guys? Welcome to the all new Under Siege series. This is of course Fevron from ENCE eSports, and today we will be taking a quick overlook for the operator Hibana. Now of course this is part of an ongoing series taking a look at all the operators. If you want a little bit more in-depth to this particular operator, you can click on the link which appears on screen now or in the description below. That will take you to the article that will help give you an insight to the character. Thanks to the one and only team manager Protax. He will be going through the strengths and weaknesses of the operator, as well as how best to utilize her on the map as you play her. With that being said, what we are going to do with this video is give you a general overlook of the operator and her weaponry and such like that. So Hibana is of course from the SAT, the Special Assault Team from Japan. She is an attack operator. Her specialty is of course the X-Kairos, which is a 40mm grenade launcher. Basically you have 3 charges of the grenade launcher, which allows you to shoot grenades at a particular surface to allow you to break open, which makes her a great entry operator. She is of course a 1 armor 3 speed operator. Now as for her loadout, you can see here there are 3 different options. If you are new to Rainbow Six, this will give you a general idea as to what you need to use for each particular operator. Now that being said, there are people with different personal preferences. But as you can see here, there are 2 primary weapons to choose for Hibana. You have the Type 89 assault rifle. You have the Supernova shotgun as the second primary weapon. Now, the assault rifle Type 89 is the most common one that you will find on the Hibana. And when you click into it, you will see that you have multiple different options for customizing this particular weapon. Now, when you click into attachments, there are 4 different attachments, but you will find that most of the pros and a lot of other players will say that the ACOG is the sight to go for. Some do actually play with the holographic as well. It depends on what kind of role you want to play for the operator, but better to be safe than sorry. The ACOG is the way to go for her. It does provide a 2.5 magnification, which allows her to basically break open a wall with her X-Kairos and then sit back a little bit and use the ACOG to be able to pick off anyone she might spot inside the room. Heading back, you will see you have a choice of a barrel as well for the weapon. There's of course suppressor, flash hider, compensator and a muzzle brake. Each one of these will provide a different benefit. As you can see here, the recoil pattern will change drastically depending on what you do. Of course, suppressor will reduce the weapon damage for the advantage of dampening the weapon sound. Most of the time, however, you will find that most of the pros and other players are going to run either the flash hider or the compensator, due to the fact that this will reduce the recoil of small bursts, and the compensator will reduce the rapid fire recoil. Now this is personal preference depending on how you play the operator. I myself personally do run the compensator for that spread reduction on recoil. But if you do tap small burst, you of course can use the flash hider as well. There are only 2 options for the grip. You have the angle grip and the vertical grip. As you can see, once again, it does just reduce recoil. Now the vertical grip will reduce the overall recoil of the weapon, whereas the angle grip accelerates the transition between hip fire and ADS. And of course, as you can see, the recoil is drastically different. Once again, is personal preference if you do like to do a lot of hip shots. However, vertical grip will be the way to go for most people. Now the underbarrel gives you the option of a laser sight. The laser sight does help increase that hip fire accuracy, but it also comes at the cost of the laser being spotted from around corners and can give away your position. So a lot of the time you'll find that people don't actually play with the laser on the underbarrel of the main weapon. Of course, the final two options are going to be the weapon skins and charms, which are completely irrelevant to the game itself, just cosmetic and not necessarily required. So a back out of this, as you can see, the Supernova shotgun is not much different, except for the fact that there are only sight and underbarrel option. Of course, red dot, and as you can see with the shotgun, the ACOG is somewhat pointless on the shotgun, as you'll be playing a lot more close range with this. So you have the choice of red dot, hollow, and reflex. A lot of the time the pros will say not to bother with red dot. You will find most of them playing holographic, but reflex also in use as well. And of course this is designed mainly for that up close and personal combat. Weapon skins and charms, once again, not required at all, but just for novelty's sake. Secondary weapons, usually you're going to find that these are mostly pistols. You will find that there are some operators that carry around some machine pistols or even shotguns as their secondary. Now the two options here are of course the P229, and the only options you actually get on secondary weapons for the most part are of course the barrels and the underbarrel. On the underbarrel it's always going to be the laser. However, with pistol this actually is useful, as it will help much more with that firing. The barrels, of course, you only get the suppressor and the muzzle brake, basically the recoil for the single shot tapping, and of course the suppressor for the reduction of sound at the cost of weapon damage. Now Hibana herself actually does run a machine gun pistol as the secondary. It is the bearing 9. As you can see here, you do get that additional option of a sight, and once again the ACOG is irrelevant to this, so you have the choice of red dot, holographic, or reflex. Once again, personal preference. A lot of the time you will find people running holographic or reflex, but really it is something that people just can mess around with, try out and see what they particularly prefer. Underbarrel, of course, suppressor, a flash hider, and a compensator to change the silence, the small burst, and the rapid fire. And as you see on the secondary, the recoil pattern not drastically different throughout these. I myself just run the compensator for that rapid firing. Of course, they do come with skins and charms as well. Now the gadgets for Hibana are going to be the stun grenade and the claymore. Now each operator will have different gadgets. Some will have the same as this, some will have completely different. Now the stun grenade obviously is just a flashbang, allows you to throw a stun grenade into the room, sets off a flash that will blind nearby people, once again allowing you to, you know, get that entry or that aggressive assault started. The claymore is the anti-personal mine, which allows you to set it down on the ground to catch off any unsuspecting victim running around the corner. As an attacking operator, the flashbang would prove to be more useful, especially if you're running, of course, the Type 89. It allows you to use your X-Kairos to bust open the wall, throw a flashbang in, catch someone out, and move on in. Of course, with Hibana, there is the additional customization you can do that does not impact the game whatsoever. You do have the option of different headgears, which you can buy for her. Currently she has the standard gear and then 3 additional ones. You then of course have uniforms. Currently Hibana only has the one additional one, which is the SAT Paratrooper.
Locate a bomb.
Okay, so now we're going to take a quick look at Hibana's X-Kairos ability, her unique ability. And as you can see here, we've just set up a custom game here to show you how to use it. And I'm just gonna roam around for 20 seconds. So basically, when you have somewhere, especially on a map like this, where you are finding, going for the bomb, and these doors are usually going to be reinforced.
10 seconds to go.
Hibana is a great attacker for using to be able to get into the bomb site, and as you'll be able to see,
found a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse
her ability, the X-Kairos, as we said, has 3 pellets. Now, the pellets will actually work on regular wood like this, but it's basically a waste because you can just either punch or shoot those open. Now, usually these kind of doors will be reinforced. Now, if there is something like a bandit, it means that her X-Kairos will be unusable until that is dealt with. However, if it is just a reinforced door or wall, the X-Kairos is perfect for this. Now, as you can see here, you get a sort of little, you can't really see outside here, it's too bright, but this little like red indicator of where you can aim the X-Kairos at. So if I fire out these pellets, you can see these 6 little pellets are where the detonation is going to trigger. Now, that basically means that only that little section will actually trigger. So if you want to like open up the entire, you know, it's not possible to open up the entire section, but you can at least reach open a respectable size hole. If you use just the 1 pellet, it would basically only cover the bottom half, and you'd have to crawl in, which is something you really don't want to do. So as you can see here, you know, if you use the 2, you can open up a good portion of the wall, which then will allow you to basically, you know, pick off some kills, creep in and stuff. Now, the pellets can also be used on other surfaces. So, for example, if you have a drop-down hatch as well that has been reinforced, you can use the X-Kairos on that as well. However, the one thing to note, if I get this right, is that, as you can see here, the 5 pellets aren't on it, but the 6th one is. And as you can see, it is more than sufficient to actually blow that open. So if you basically aim, the pellets are actually destructible, so they can be shot and destroyed. Now, as you've seen here, you know, it only takes the 1 to actually be on whatever it is you want to destroy for it to detonate the whole thing. So it's a good thing to use that, so that maybe the 1 is just on the corner and, you know, help, not so much as secretively make your way in, but still it's it sometimes can take the enemy by surprise. So that's basically Hibana's X-Kairos ability.
15 seconds
as we said, it is ideal for breaching into reinforced walls and hatches, and
5 seconds left.
Why she's one of the most chosen operators in the game. And if you want an in-depth look to Hibana, as we said earlier, don't forget to check out the article by Protax, which you can find a link for on screen now or in the description below. And also check us out, ENCE Esports, on our social media, and ENCE.gg for all the latest coverage, as well as articles for our various teams.